kasi maubos yung oras ko. I will now go to my next question. Magkano ba yung naka-allocate sa ating rice production for this year and next year, no? Kasi alam natin na nagkulang nga yung produksyon natin, no? So magkano ba ang ginilagay ninyo dito, no? Pareho lang ba ang budget na hiningi ninyo or ang naibigay sa atin for our rice production?
Sa rice production, Mr. Chair, basically, nasa 26 billion tayo for 2025. Pero in 2024 was 24 billion. So, tumaso ng konti. Tama ba ito?
Yeah.
Mga 8.22% increase.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Secretary, 2 billion increase, would it be enough? Dahil this year, nakita natin, nagkulang tayo ng almost 4 million metric tons, no? So, will it be enough para makover natin na mapataas yung production? Kasi my premise is, kung alam natin na kulang na nga, no? Ano ba to? Nakadesign na ba to for importation na? Kaya hindi natin dinagdagan para dito sa ating rice production. So, would it be proper if I would say na importasyon na naman yung solusyon natin? So, siguro hindi na dapat DA, DI na lang. Department of Importation na lang. Kasi 24 billion to 26 billion, alam natin kulang na nga yung ngayon nangyari, ngayong taon. So, ano ba to? Design na ba siya for ganyan?
Mr. Chair? Well, definitely, I am against further or increasing importation. No, that's why I think I was hired to do this job. Definitely, kulang talaga yung budget. But like in my past, where I came from, normally, even in the corporate world, we're given a certain amount, and we will just, of course, we will try to get more, diba? But pag nandiyan na yan, we will use it wisely para mag-increase ang production natin at mabawasan ang importation. One thing we really have to invest in besides production is yung sa post-harvest. And meron na, before na-submit yung budget natin at inaprubahan ni Presidente, nakahilit pa ako Mr. President, at dagdagan pa yung post-harvest ng NFA ng 5 billion, which will help a lot. Kasi hindi lang po production ng problema, yung ating post-harvest. We are losing about 8 to 10% or even minsan 12 to up to 15% pa. So doon lang, pag mailagay natin yung mga post-harvest facilities na galing sa PhilMec, galing sa RCEF, galing sa budget ng DA, it will already increase yung ating supply sa merkado.
Actually, yan ang next question ko. Pero itong sa rice production kasi napaka-importante nito kung seryoso tayo na pamurahin yung bigas, no, o yung 20 pesos na bigas, napaka-importante nito, Mr. Secretary. Kaya I would suggest na sana dito ilagay, no, dagdagan, no, kung wala man yung iba, dagdagan yung budget para dito. My next question is actually about the post-harvest and pre-harvest budget. 3 taon na po ako, o 2 taon na akong parang sirang plaka dito, sinasabi ko taon-taon. This year, if I'm not mistaken, 56 billion for pre-harvest, 16 billion for post-harvest. Next year, ang ni-request nyo, ang nandito sa NEF, 58 billion for pre-harvest, 13 billion for post-harvest budget. Alam naman po natin, no, sinabi nyo na ito yung isang problema. Bakit ba ayaw natin dagdagan o ipantay man lamang o lampasan o ipantay sa pre-harvest budget yung post-harvest budget natin? Napakalayo ng agwat, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Secretary. Alam po natin naman kung ano yung problema. Ba't ayaw natin ibigay?
Mr. Chair, yung sa post-harvest, meron din kami actually inaasahan na manggagaling sa RCEF. Yung bagong RTL law natin will give us more leeway, no, to invest part of the taxes collected to post-harvest facilities, mas mararami. But of course, mas maganda rin, Mr. Chair, na yung post-harvest is 50 billion din kung kaya. Mas gusto ko rin talaga yon.
You had mentioned in one of your press statement that you need 93 billion. How much ba yung hiningi dito? Kasi ang nakita ko is 30 billion, including yung RCEF na yan. Ha? So, RCEF will only give you 5.5 million sa 10 billion because 55% ginawa natin sa revision ng RTLO, no? For now, it's 5 billion only, kasama na yun, no? So, dapat isa pa to, Mr. Secretary, and I would reserve this again in my plenary deliberations for the budget. Kasi maubos yung oras ko dito, Mr. Chairman. So my next question is, tungkol naman ito sa Kadiwa, no? But Mr. Chair, with the indulgence of my colleague here, please allow me to play this very short video, no? Less than a minute na nakuha ko kagabi sa news for the appreciation of everybody. Sana hindi po ito ibawas sa oras ko. Very short lang po ito, Mr. Chair.
Congressman Lee, sorry, we will have to strictly stick to the 3-minute rule because of the 5 minutes or 5-minute rule. Does he still have more than 1 minute for the video?
30 seconds, Mr. Chair. Pero kung hindi pwede, wag na, okay lang.
Teka muna. Okay, Congressman Lee, yes, you can proceed with the video.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, but it will be deducted from the time.
For those who wish to present videos, kindly have
Wag na lang, Mr. Chair, baka maubos eh.
Okay.
The video is about the news yesterday, last night, about yung itinapon na naman ng mga kamatis sa Nueva Ecija, pinamigay na lang, no? So very obvious that sa ibang lugar, ang food production outlook natin, nakikita, no? From the DA mismo, no? Nakikita sa ibang lugar, over yung production. Sa ibang lugar, kulang. It's because of the lack of yung market linkages, yung mga kadiwa, yung pagdadalahan. This year, for 250 million ang nangyaring budget for kadiwa, 467 million this year and 250 million for next year. So napaka-importante nito rin, Mr. Secretary, dahil ito po ang pagdadala, no? Pati yung mga logistics and everything, no? Sa post-harvest, ito sa kadiwa, ito yung pagdadala ng ating po mga produkto, no? So anong nangyari din dito? Bakit naging ganito, no? So para ba tayong nagloloko, sorry for the word, with the indulgence of our colleagues here, no? With the chairman. Para tayong naglolokohan lang, no? Gusto natin pataasin ang produksyon, pamurahin ang bilihin, pero ang DA masyadong binagsak yung budget. Halos lahat ng importante, bumaba po yung budget. What happened, Mr. Secretary?
Mr. Chair, well, ayoko rin yung budget na nakuha ko actually. Siyempre, I want something more, but I think yung limit talaga ng national budget natin that I have to work with.
Pinaglaban niyo ba ito, Mr. Secretary, Mr. Chair, Mr. Secretary?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Tungkol dun sa kamatis naman, next year, masosolve na natin partially itong problema na to because we are building mega cold storage
Committee to restore the budget requested by the DA. No, nasabi na Mr. Secretary kanina, our farmers and fisher folks remains the poorest sector in our country. Tapusin na natin ito once and for all, Mr. Chair, Mr. Secretary. Kaya naman natin gawin eh. Bakit po nakakapagbigay tayo pondo sa iba't ibang ahensya na hindi naman po nakakamatay? Kung hindi magawa, bakit di natin pagtuunan ng pansin ang ating pagkain? Once and for all, murang pagkain, gawin na po natin. Gusto ko po itong maging legacy ng 19th Congress at ng maging legacy ko dahil ulintaon ko na po ito dito, Mr. Chair and Mr. Secretary. So sana tapusin na po natin ito. Murang pagkain, mataas na produksyon, gawin na po natin ito. Kawawa po yung ating mga magsasaka, kawawa po tayong lahat. Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Secretary.
Yes, thank you very much, Congressman Lee. I'm sure that the Secretary appreciates very much your proposal to increase the budget. Next would be Deputy Majority Leader Bong Teves. Congressman Teves, you have the floor.
Mr. Chair, the Department of Agriculture, headed by my good friend, Secretary Kiko Laurel. Good morning to all of us. Mr. Chair, as we heard earlier, Secretary Kiko mismo ang nagsabi, kulang ang budget. As what the opening statement of our beloved Secretary earlier said, huwag nating payamanin ang mga dayuhang magsasaka. Ang dapat nating payamanin ay ang mga magsasakang Pilipino na ngayon ay naghihirap. As I said, ng our colleague, the Agri-Party List, tama, kulang po ang budget ng Department of Agriculture. Ngayon ang tanong, bakit tayo nandito? Ang kailangan natin suportahan ang budget ng Department of Agriculture. Following that, as a TJP party list congressman, I strongly ask my fellow congressman to increase the budget of the Department of Agriculture to address the challenges of the agricultural sector in support our farmers and fishermen folks in order to achieve food security na gusto ng ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Bagong Pilipinas, babangon muli.
Second the motion, Mr. Chair.
Lastly, in the interest of time, I would like to give my remaining time to my boss, good friend, and neighbor in the office, the ever active congressman of the 2nd District of Cagayan de Oro, my boss, my idol, Congressman Ropos Gutierrez Rodriguez. Thank you very much.
Comsec, do we allow that?
No, we don't. Sorry, we don't.
Sorry, Congressman Teves, we do not allow passing on of the remaining time.
Sorry.
That's the right of
Yes.
a representative whose time is still left to give to another congressman.
Yes, but Congressman Rodriguez, I think we've had previous briefings and they have practiced it in the past already. So it would be unfair for those who are...
With the chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Congressman Rodriguez. We would like to acknowledge the Assistant Minority Leader, Gabriel Bordado. Sorry. Assistant Minority Leader, Marisa Magsino. Sorry. Congresswoman Magsino, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you so much. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat, to our dear colleagues, our chairman, Tiangco, and of course, Secretary Chu, and to the DA family. Ang akin po ay isang clarification. Ang sektor po ng agrikultura sa ating bansa ay napag-iiwanan na. Hindi natin mabigyan ng sapat na kita ang ating mga magsasaka na siyang lumilikha ng ating pagkain at nananatiling isa sa pinakamahirap sa ating bansa. Nasasaad po sa Philippine Development Plan for 2025 to 2028 na sa sektor ng agrikultura sa ating bansa na nananatiling mababa ang farm at labor productivity. Masyado pong mababa ang ating average of mechanization na 1.23 horsepower per hectare sa ating pananim. Ibig pong sabihin, ang sektor ay nakasandal pa rin sa manual labor ng ating magsasaka. Dagdag pa po rito ang kakulangan sa paggamit ng mga makabagong technology sa agro-fisheries, limitadong research and development at extension services, at unsustainable farming practices po na nagre-resulta sa underproduction. Ang akin pong pangkalahatang tanong, ano po ang nangyari sa implementation ng AFMA, ng Agricultural and Fisheries Modernization Act o Republic Act number 8435. Ang isa po kasing layunin ng batas na ito ay itulak ang ating agrikultura at pangisdaan na maging technology-based sa halip po na maging resource-based na sektor upang palakasin ang productivity ng ating sektor, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, tama ko kayo, Madam Congresswoman, yung nakulang talaga yung mechanization natin, and yung AFMA, yun ang direction ngayon na ina-apply ng DA, Mr. Chair, moving forward. Actually, 27 years kung hindi ito na gamit ng mabuti o na-activate. So, that's why nagkaroon ng under-investment at under-performance ang agricultural sector. But using the framework of AFMA, ang ganda ho nito eh. Hindi lang talaga nagamit. Pero kami ngayon, yung aking team dito sa DA, yan ang direction at para ma-fully implement yung AFMA natin to the letter. It's comprehensive enough na it should solve most of our problems as long as we adhere to this particular law and program. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for that po, Mr. Chair. Napakaganda po na talagang i-implement natin to kasi matagal na pong batas to. Sinabi nyo nga po, Secretary, na 25 years na po to na hindi po naaayos ang implementation. Ngayon po, para po sa 2025, may propose po na budget na 129 billion para po sa implementation ng AFMA. Nakita po namin na 5.27 billion po ang nakaraan sa extension support, training and education services program. Meron naman pong 2.23 billion naman po para po sa research and development program. At 7.26 billion naman po para sa agricultural machinery, equipment, facilities at infrastructure program. Bale, ang kabuuang halaga po na nabanggit na programa ay 14.76 billion. Ang akin pong clarificatory question, hindi po ba napakaliit po ng porsyento ng 14.76 billion mula po sa 129 billion na kabuuang pondo po sa AFMA kung ang pag-uusapan po ay modernization ng ating agriculture at fisheries para po palakasin ang pambansang produksyon sa sektor na ito, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, definitely kulang, as mentioned kanina, and I agree with sa mga comments kanina, kulang talaga. But luckily nga, even yung sa RCEF nga, hindi lang, gusto kong bagitin kanina, hindi lang 5 billion yung mapupunta sa mechanization with the, assuming pumasa yung bagong RTL. Baka madoble ho yun dahil yung anything in excess of the 10 billion, magkakaroon na ho ng, kung pumasa yung batas, na may leeway na mamili ang DA in sa menu ng kailangan ng intervention from mechanization to other para madagdag at hopefully doon na yung makuha to ng pandagdag. And of course, kung makadagdag pa tayo sa ng budget sa coming days before bago ma-issue yung GAA, mas maganda ho, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, okay. Yun po yung katanungan ko po. Kasi po, ayon po sa AFMA, 30% po ng pondo ay dapat po para sa irigasyon. 10% po para sa post-harvest facilities, 10% po para sa infrastructure, at 10% para sa research and development, at 5% po para sa capacity building ng mga farmers organizations, kasama na po ang LGUs. Tanong ko po, sang-ayon po kasi sa itinakdang priorities ng ating batas, ang aktual po na allocation ng pondo ng AFMA sa taunang budget ng departamento. At higit po, medyo nagtataka lang po kasi ako, ngayon pong na 2024, ang budget po ng AFMA ay 114.27 billion. At ang kabuang napunta po sa extension services, research and development, machineries, equipment, at facilities po ay 17.37 billion lamang po. So mas mataas po ang proposal ng pondo ng AFMA for 2025 pero mas mababa naman po yung services ng extension services, machineries, infrastructure. Bakit po nagkaganito? Kasi po kung ganito po ang prioritization ng pondo ng AFMA, sa available funds natin, talaga pong mananatiling mababa o mabagal ang paglago ng antas ng ating produksyon sa ating agriculture at pangingisda. Ang akin lang po, sana to po yung absorptive capacity natin or utilization ay maging akma po sa pondo po na nakalaan upang mas lalo pong ma-improve natin, ma-utilize po natin. Kung may sobra po, ma-utilize pa po natin at madagdagan pa po ito pong mga percentage na ito, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Secretary.
Mr. Chair, I would refer to Yusek Oliveros.
Yeah. Marami pong salamat sa inyong katanungan, Mr. Chair, Your Honors. Maganda po yung katanungan dahil yan din po yung aming obserbasyon dito sa aming bagong team ngayon na napakababa ng naibibigay sa extension work, sa training, at iba pa no, na component po ng AFMA. Sinabi nga po namin na sa loob ng mahabang panahon, ang AFMA po ay naipas noong 1997. Pero unfortunately, hindi po natin ito naibigyan no, ng tamang atensyon at tamang implementasyon. Unang-una po, ang isang dahilan dyan ay yung mababa po nating budget. Alam po natin na yung budget natin at the national level ay very rigid ho at napakaliit lamang. Kaya napakaliit din po noong share na naibibigay sa Department of Agriculture. Despite the fact na priority po ang agriculture, ay hindi po mabigyan ng tamang focus at mabigyan ng tamang budget dahil po dito. Aware po kami dyan, kaya sa susunod na mga panahon po, siguro makikita nyo yung changes sa aming magiging budget para dito. At tinitingnan ho namin yung shifts doon sa budget namin. Sa ngayon po, ang pinakamalaking share ng budget ay sa production, na sinasabi ninyo nga na maliit din. Kami po ay tama po ang inyong obserbasyon, maliit pa rin ang PSS natin, ang Production Support Services, despite the fact na yun na po yung pinakamalaking share ng DA budget. Halos 50% po ng budget natin, pero kulang pa. Kaya yung iba pong component ay napag-iiwanan natin. So ang gagawin po namin sa mga susunod na panahon, dahil kami po ay aware dito, ay tignan pong mabuti kung paano kami mag-shift ng ating resources, paano po madadagdagan yung mga naiiwanan natin. Alam po namin na yun yung mga components na kailangan po talaga na support doon sa production, hindi lamang ho sa pagbibigay ng mga intervention gaya ng mga seedlings, fertilizers, but kami po ay aware na kailangan din po yung tamang teknolohiya, researches, training ng ating mga farmers. At isa po dito ay yung ating partnership with the private sector, including po ang local governments, dahil ang local governments po ang talagang partner ng Department of Agriculture sa pagsulong ng ating mga programa. Unfortunately po, meron din kaming nagiging problema with the local government units, dahil po doon sa ating local government code, yun pong ating mga extension workers po ay naibaba na, naibaba sa mga local government units. So, naging handicap din po yon sa Department of Agriculture dahil nawalan po kami ng koneksyon. Yun ho kasing mga extension workers, yung link natin with the LGU sa pagbibigay ng tamang teknolohiya at mga training natin at paggabay sa ating mga farmers and fisher folk. So, isa ho din yun sa nagiging problema, although yun po ay ginagawa natin ng paraan sa pamamagitan po ng ating Agriculture Training Institute na nagbibigay po sila ng extensive na training, scholarship, pagbaba ng teknolohiya sa ating mga farmers, sa ibaba po sa ating mga farmers and fisher folks. So, yun po, marami pong salamat dun sa obserbasyon na yun. At yun po, asahan po ninyo na yun po ay talagang ginagawa namin at gagawan po namin ng paraan despite sa maliit na budget na ibibigay po ng ating national government. Marami pong salamat.
Congressman Magsino.
Thank you for that po. Ayan, hiling lang po ng OFW party list na sana po ma-utilize natin yung budget for the certain, yung ating pong budget for AFMA at mabigyan po ng atensyon yung mga kakulangan pong component na dapat po nating punuan.
Sorry,
Maraming
time's up.
salamat po.
Yes, thank you. Okay, next, Congressman Adrian Amatong. Wala. Next would be Congressman Bambi Emano.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Chair and Mr. Chair. Maayong buntag sa tanan. And ngada umaga, I will be again bringing 3 hats, Mr. Chair. As a chairman of the Committee on Mindanao Affairs, I will be hopefully be able to bring down the challenges that Minda is facing under Secretary Leo Magno. And at the same time, as a member of the Regional Development Council for Region 10, and hopefully maybe on the 3rd round, because I don't think that I'll be able to finish it regarding some parochial concerns in my district. Let me start, Mr. Chair, by asking if for Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, did our farmers increase, Mr. Chair? Madam Chair?
Secretary?
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Chair.
Increased?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. I will be throwing follow-up questions later, maybe on the 2nd round. Second question, Mr. Chair, of the 3 major islands, which is considered as the food basket of our country?
Mr. Chair, I would consider Mindanao and Luzon as food baskets.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. And let me first start before the questions, Mr. Chair, on the briefer that they gave us, budget briefer that they distributed, Madam Chair. On it's unnumbered, Madam Chair, so it would be very difficult. But under top export agri-fisheries commodities, what are the programs to support the coconut oil industry, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Sa coconut industry, Mr. Chair, basically, the PCA has been ordered by our president to plant 100 million trees up to 2028. I think the most important thing is we have adequate supply of raw materials to continuously have products to process. Then the second stage nun is yung processing plants natin. Maraming bagong processing plants that will do basically hindi lang yung kopra, no? Value added na talaga. Kasi yun na yung nire-require ng mundo, no? At kagaya ng mga iba-ibang coconut oil, coconut water, tapos yung mga other products, even yung sa husk, gagawin mga paleta, no? Meron bagong inaugurate na plant taxi sa Misamis, ano? Very soon. So, yeah, I think the focus will be on the planting of raw material, no, for raw material para ma-increase.
Yeah. But, Mr. Chair, I believe that we've been planting raw material since time immemorial. I think what we need are facilities, plants that will process our output, our produce, Mr. Chair. So I was asking if what programs, aside from planting, aside from the inauguration of the plant in collaboration with FICO in Misamis Oriental, what about other countries? I mean, other provinces, Mr. Chair. I'm talking about Mindanao.
Meron tayong PRDP din, Mr. Chair, that magtatayo ng mga coconut processing facilities in Mindanao. I just don't have the actual data now with me, but I can have our PCA submit list to our to your committee, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, they will submit it later. Then how can we study it, Mr. Chair? They very well know that during budget hearing, these questions will be asked, Mr. Chair. And they should be ready already to supply us with data, Mr. Chair, because...
Could I request the PCA administrator to reply to the query of
Yeah, Mr. Chair, if I can get answers later on the second round, can I just ask all the questions so that I will not consume all of my time, Mr. Chair, hopefully?
So Congressman
then we
Imano,
will
you want to ask your questions
Yeah,
and
then
just
answer
get the
later the
replies
second
later.
round,
Okay, I
Mr.
think
Chair.
that's better.
Okay.
So,
And,
please note ha, yung question, nasaan
Yeah.
yung PCA?
And under
Okay.
Mr. Chair, a number page again, under poultry production, Region 10 is the highest. What programs that they are giving the islands of Mindanao, including, of course, Region 10, Mr. Chair. In a number page, Mr. Chair, livestock production. May I know if there's roadmap already for the cattle industry and other ruminants and non-ruminants livestock, Mr. Chair. Under production of dairy, again, Region 10 was mentioned. Programs, Mr. Chair, for the dairy industry, the roadmap for the dairy industry in the islands of Mindanao, Mr. Chair, for the whole country, if they can supply.
Yes, hold on. Yusek Alvin, are you taking notes of the queries of, yes. Okay, please
Yeah,
proceed.
And distributed, Mr. Chair, on their report, under accomplishment was 202,000 heads of animals. Which animals, Mr. Chair, were distributed? And still under accomplishments are again for the coconut industry and there, wonderful, Mr. Chair. Research and development, 99 technologies developed, 25 technologies commercialized. Which technologies are these, Mr. Chair? And for under post-harvest equipment, the machinery and facilities, there were 1,300 equipment, machinery distributed. What equipments are these, Mr. Chair? And can we have it itemized by major islands, Mr. Chair, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao?
Yes.
And under farm to market road, Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, I will be having third, fourth round later because there seems to be very huge discrepancy in it's a parochial concern in my district, Mr. Chair, versus the 2024 farm to market road allocation. And in another unnumbered page, Mr. Chair, summary. Under summary, Mr. Chair, again, I don't know what's 0% and D%.
Wait,
Mr.
hold on.
Chair, if I may inquire.
Sandali po, Congressman. Teka, walang number eh. Anong number po yun? Anong page po yun?
Mr. Chair,
Yusek Oliveros, yung binabanggit ni Kong Imano.
I think under letter B. There's 0% and D%. I apologize, Mr. Chair, I'm not a mathematician and I do not understand it, but I'm asking what 0 and D% is.
Congressman Imano, obligation and disbursement po yun.
Obligation and disbursement. Okay.
Yeah.
So the obligation for Philippine Carabao Center is 97.49% and disbursement is 93.14%.
You confirm that, Yusek Nora Oliveros? Yung obligation tsaka yung
Can I get the answer later, Mr. Chair?
Okay.
So I'll be able to respond the queries or clarificatory questions, Mr. Chair.
Okay, pakisulat lang, Yusek Alvin. Yes.
Yeah, and this one, Mr. Chair, it states that assessment and challenges, another 76, I believe. Mr. Chair, that's 3 minutes pa, Mr. Chair, no? Ano ba yan? 30 seconds. 30 seconds. It says, Mr. Chair, under assessment and challenges, we are lagging behind Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, Indonesia, and Thailand. So what are they doing right, Mr. Chair? Hope will be answered later, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
And under numbered page again, Mr. Chair, under DA's plan for Masaganang Bagong Pilipinas, Mr. Chair, I saw another DA's plan para Masaganang Bagong Pilipinas. I don't say livestock program here, Mr. Chair. I see expand, mechanize, develop, and other programs, but not the roadmap and the development of the livestock industry. Under letter D, Mr. Chair. So for under personal services, they have around 6.7 billion. May I know, Mr. Chair, if for 2024, which the field and unfilled positions for the Department of Agriculture, Mr. Chair, including Region 10, Mr. Chair. Under livestock, we will be budgeting 5.7 billion next year. If it can be clarified, Mr. Chair, where will the 5.7 billion be going? And under
Time is up, Congressman Emano. So please finish your sentence, please.
okay, Mr. Chair, I still have I would like to register for second round.
Okay,
That's
thank
one.
you.
Second, Mr. Chair, is I still have questions, but please, Mr. Chair, the challenges being faced by the sector to close, Mr. Chair. Under challenges, Mr. Chair, there's global crisis. Here, they gave us a problem and told us about the problem of degraded natural resources. May I know the programs that they have worked with the ENR and EMB, Mr. Chair? And about shrinking agricultural land, have they worked it out with the DILG, LGUs, and DAR, Mr. Chair?
Time is up, Congressman Emano. We will list you for the second round.
Second round, Mr. Chair.
Okay, if it is your pleasure, Congressman Emano, I could ask Congressman Alvin to give you the sorry, Yusek Alvin the replies to your questions.
I have a follow-up question, but later, Mr.
Ibig
Chair.
ko sabihin, yung mga tinanong mo ngayon, pag meron na sila, ipapasa lang sa'yo. At any given time.
That would be wonderful, Mr. Chair. That would be wonderful.
Okay, Yusek,
Mr.
pakipasa
Chair,
lang.
we will collect all the requested data of the good congressman and we will submit it outright po. Kay
Yes.
Kong po.
Yes, and earlier, I spoke to, ito po para sa lahat ng congressmen, yes, earlier I spoke to Yusek Alvin. During lunch, they will be, siya po ang chief of staff ni Sec. Tula Laurel Jr. During lunch, they will just be on the other side. So if you have any concerns, you could approach them later on. Okay po.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes, thank you very much, Congressman Bambi Emano.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Next would be Congresswoman Arlene Brosas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, ano po yung target palay production ng Pilipinas sa 2024? Tapos ano yung projected palay production natin?
Mr. Chair, dahil itong taon na to is because tinamaan tayo ng El Nino and the second half itong La Nina, we're hoping of parity lang versus last year. Yun ang tingin kong reasonable na, at least pareho last year. 20 point something, 20 point.
Secretary, can you make it louder, Mr. Chair?
Yes, 20 point, ang target, Mr. Chair, ang target natin this year, because of what happened na El Nino, na actually bumagsak ang production natin, first half, then second half with water now, hopefully mag-increase ng konti, wag lang tayo tamaan ng bagyo. We're hoping na pareho lang yung production natin sa 2023, no? Ang 2024 production, which is 20.1 million metric tons of palay. Thank you, thank you, Mr. Chair.
20.1
Yes, Mr. Chair.
metric tons in 2023 kasi 20.06 yung 2023 natin eh. So 2024, 20.01 ang target natin.
20.1, 0.6 to 0.1, mga ganun. 0.06 to 0.1.
Now, Mr. Chair, ayon sa forecast ng US Department of Agriculture, aabot ng 4.7 million.
Million is the figure that will most likely happen sa importation, 4 million metric tons of imported rice. As I said a while ago, Mr. Chair, we're trying our best to have increased production, no? Not only increased production due to better seeds technology and yung tinatawag na increasing yung ating number of harvests from isa to dalawa, ngayon tatlo, with binabago din namin yung ating planting calendar with NIA, our NIA administrator here. So then yung post-harvest then should increase din yung recovery natin. So it's a plan na hindi lang multifaceted plan ito para rumami ang bigas natin. But of course, we also have to consider now we will have a ever-growing population eh. So we have a moving target eh. Kung hindi lalaki yung population natin, then I guess tuloy-tuloy na mababawasan itong ating importation. But yung growing population natin at 1 to 1.2 million people, more people a year is a very hard, parang nagka-catch up palagi ang DA. Yan ang reality, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, isa sa mga ginawa ninyong plano para pababain ay yung tariff reduction, right? 35% to 15%. Mr. Chair, may foregone tariff revenues dito, no? 10 billion. Dahil binaba mo nga yung taripa from 35% to 15%. Paano tutugunan ng DA ang mawawalang kita ng mga magsasaka? Saan babawiin o kukunin ng DA at gobyerno ang sinasabing halos 10 billion na foregone revenues dahil sa Executive Order number 62? Kasi ang sinasabi nyo kanina, Secretary, Mr. Chair, tutulungan yung mga magsasaka at ang gusto natin talaga, production ng mga magsasaka. Pero binaba nyo ng 35% to 15% yung tariff, Mr. Chair. So ano yun? Yung foregone revenues, yun po yung may natanong. Paano nyo tutugunan yun?
Mr. Chair, basically, yung meron tayong napag-usapan with the other government departments like DOF and DBM at of course yung ating Office of the President na yung we are more or less, the government is more or less guaranteeing na yung 30 billion na dating sa RCEP, ma-maintain yun kahit bumaba ang taripa. No? So, dadagdagan nila tayo ng pondo yung to fill up the gap and ma-maintain yung 30 billion na nakukuha ng RCEP.
Mamaya po, I will ask about it kasi ibang yung excess tariff revenues, di ba? Yung, kasi tinanong ko rin po to sa DBCC last time pero mamaya po itatanong ko ulit yon. Pero meanwhile, can we request for a report of the top rice importer and the volume of imports per importer sa inyong ahensya, Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Chair. We will provide that this afternoon.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Second question, Mr. Chair. Kaibahan ng bigas 29 program at Rice for All program ng DA, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, yung Rice for All is basically, ang nangyayari is bibili ang two government DOC system DA, namely FTI and Planters Products Incorporated ng bigas, no? Whether local or imported ito. At ipapass on lang sa consumer ang presyo, walang kita. So, wala rin lugi. But then, this should, since walang kita yung gobyerno dito, dapat mas mura ang benta nila versus sa palengke ng at least 5 piso bawat kilo. Yung sa Rice 29 naman, it's a whole program na we are targeting to sell rice to initially yung ating mga disadvantaged, like yung PWD, senior citizen, single parent, 4-piece, at a target price of 29 peso. But it's actually a plan to review the whole value chain with a target of 29. Initially, definitely, there will be a little bit of subsidy in the part of the DA. That's why experimental ito at 17 stores pa lang ngayon ang nagpo-provide ito at nakikita na namin lahat ng mga intricacies, ano? But on a bigger project, we will be targeting, a plan with a convergence plan ng whole of DA na by next planting season, October, we will be targeting 50,000 hectares of planted area, to be of rice. We will plant the right seeds, give the right fertilizer, the right machineries in order to achieve na talagang 29 peso, hindi malulugi ang with the concept of contract farming, pati pagbabago ng planting calendar at saka alternate wet and dry system. So maraming diskarte kaming gagawin para ma-achieve namin yung 29 peso which is currently being achieved by NIA, as its production cost. Basta nabigyan lang ng suporta ng gobyerno, Mr. Chair.